on stacks, racks on racks, but that wouldn't do me no good. My kids would have money, but they wouldn't have me. Said I could have stacks on stacks.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Mikey here from Taking Back Music. So I'm starting a couple different things. Finally up. And one of them is I'm basically going to start taking you through either the beats that I make or the songs that I've recorded. In this particular case, I'm going to walk you through the song that that's going to drop on January 25th. The song is called Wouldn't Have Me, although I know you see right here in the screen it says What I Got. That's what I originally named the song, and then I changed it just because What I Got didn't resonate with me. And the song is mostly focused on I could do everything, try and get money, try to pay my bills, try to do all these different things, but all of it would be worthless if I didn't have my kids, if my kids didn't have me, if my wife didn't have me, and I just couldn't do that. It's been something that I've been struggling with for myself, and I think this applies to a lot of the dads out there. And that's kind of been where my music has been geared to, is the fathers, within the world, the fathers in the community, and those of us who are just trying to do our best to make it through. I based this on the verse in Matthew 16, chapter 26, that states, "And what do you benefit if you gain the whole world, but you lose your soul? You lose your own soul. Is there anything worth more than your soul?" And I was literally thinking about it, and nothing is worth that. Nothing is worth more than me being able to be, first of all, a good man of God. It's like a good man just in general. Nothing is worth me losing my kids. It's like nothing is worth, it's like me losing my marriage. Nothing is worth, it's like me losing who I am and who I'm supposed to be. There's nothing is worth that, and I couldn't live with the fact that I couldn't live with that. It's like, and that was my struggle, and that's been my struggle, and so I put it in the song, and that's how we got to this. Now, most of these you're gonna see is gonna be my beats and all that kind of stuff. Now, this particular beat I got from Dramatic Beats on BeatStars. Phenomenal dude, has phenomenal beats, great prices, buy one get four free, and I promise you the quality that he has are well worth it. You can just go through and see some of the stuff that he has, and I mean, it's on point. I loved it. I got a couple tracks from him that I'm working on putting out, and I think his stuff is well worth it. Look into him. I'm gonna be completely honest. I'm gonna start shouting out a lot of the producers if I do work with one, and if I get a beat from somebody, I'm shouting them out in all the videos that I make. If I collab with somebody, I'm shouting you out in the video that I made. If I'm all about sharing the credit, but I fell in love with this beat and the concept I already had in my head. So first off, what I'm about to do, I'm gonna play a small snippet for you. I'm gonna start off at the end of the verse, the last two bars at the end of the verse going into the hook. So here we go.
You can have everything if that's what you deserve. But to not see my kids, no, that would be absurd. I can have stacks on stacks, racks on racks, but that wouldn't do me no good. My kids would have money, but they wouldn't have me. Said I can have stacks on stacks, racks on racks, but that wouldn't do me no good. I would live but have no soul in me. Nah.
So, to start off with, I did this a lot differently than I normally would, and I think I'm gonna start doing this more so into all of my other tracks that I start recording from now on. One, I used a lot more use a lot more automations, which I know that doesn't look like much, like it looks all low and all that mess, but each one of them has their like own different purposes at own different times. Some of it is just stuff I needed throughout the whole song, and then I wanted it to change at some point. other stuff like for instance this particular one right here. um, this particular one right here is basically me channel panning for my ad libs. You know, and I wanted to do I love, you know, the ad libs going back and forth, you know, because you never really know where it's coming from. Mind you, mine is if it's gonna go right on one, it's gonna go left on the other. You know, it's just I just thought it was really interesting to do, and so I went forth with that. But yeah, so in this particular project, I just used the wave. I liked how he mixed it. And I'm gonna keep it real with you. I couldn't afford to get the unlimited license, so I went with the wave license and started running with this track. Loved it. Loved how he already had the mix, so there was no need for me to do any of that. All right. But like I said, in this particular case, I started doing my recordings differently, because normally I would only have one vocal, you know, with my effects and all that kind of stuff. And you know, and now what I've done and started doing is I started layering my vocals, you know, all of my verses, all of my hooks. You know, it's like it's always two vocals, and then the third one being my ad libs. My ad libs either being me hitting the punchline or me doing something in between, you know, and trying to do it in a way that's tasteful as best. So what I'm gonna do normally, I would use what's in the song, but I'm gonna use one from a song that I previously recorded, Concerns with Monty. That was already up on all platforms. You can listen to that one. But normally what I do, all right, is I'll go into the vocal. Each DAW is different. I don't know what DAW you're using. This is particularly how I do in Fruity Loops, or FL Studio, forgive me. You know, but basically it's all the same steps. You just got to figure out how to apply it within your DAW, or whatever program you use. So first what I'll do, I'll bring it up into an audio editor, Edison for FL Studio. Again, I don't know what DAW you use, but this is for me. I'll normalize it, which for those who don't know, I just press Control N when you go into Edison. It's a quick hotkey. If you don't know any of that stuff, you go right here, hit normalize, it'll do the whole thing. Okay. This trick, I don't remember if I learned it from, no, this trick I learned from Larry O. Love his stuff. Basically you highlight a certain dead space in it, because you know everybody's got this the air on and all that kind of stuff. I'm not cutting off my air. I'm fat, I get hot quick. All right, but you basically take an empty space. Try not to do any of the stuff in between the vocals, even though there's breath stuff in here. Some of it is resonance from your own voice, and you'll end up messing with frequencies that you don't need to touch. But yeah, so I'll go to the cleanup first to get a profile of the noise. All right, you right click on your mouse, it'll automatically do it. Then you highlight Control A or highlight the whole clip, and then you just normal left click on there and you'll see this menu pop up. Okay, you could play with the frequencies if you know how to do that. I personally don't, and I don't want to get stuck and mess something up. I probably should, and you know, one day I might just mess around with it, and might even record messing around with it and see what I can make. But basically what it'll do, it'll take the frequency. Most noise is in the upper registries or the lower registries. Some of it's in the higher. It picks where it wants to do. This is automatic because you've gotten the noise profile, and you can figure out, you know, more so if you want to attack certain frequencies and what you want to hear. All right, I'm not going to do that. I just do the automatic because I haven't figured that part out yet. You know, one day I might just toy around and do it. But anyways, so I hit accept or I hit enter, and you'll notice it cleaned up a lot of it. All right, it doesn't do the breaths because breaths have different frequencies. It's mostly lower, but it does get the other one. Now what I do next is I'll go through the very beginning and I basically fade out or cut out all the noise. I don't cut out the timing just because when you put the clip back, you want it to fall into the same place where you had it. You know, so I don't ever cut the ends. I do that inside the actual audio playlist or where I'm putting the sounds at, so that the sounds stay in the same time link, so I'm not messing with stuff and then trying to figure out timing and all that mess. All right. But yeah, so I'll normalize the whole thing. Now that this is normalized and cleaned up, what I'll go through, me personally, all right, I go through the other clips and I normalize everything else. All right. Now, mind you, I have this set to where when it's doing the regions or selecting and all that kind of stuff, I have it at where is it? Okay, bet. So the way that I have it, just so that I'm not messing around too much with stuff, I have it snapped to 0 crossing. Okay, that means that where the sound wave is at its like lowest point and all that mess, you're only snapped to wherever it hits right at this middle line. Okay, so I just go through and kind of normalize all basically the rest of the audio, mostly because it's just a lot of stuff that, like, you know, it's not all balanced correctly, in my opinion. And I want to do my best that everything gets to be at an even volume as best as possible. All right. So what I won't do here at the beginning is do that breath. I'll leave everything else. Okay. So then what I'll do, instead of trying to drag it into it and doing all the extra timing and trying to figure out that, I'll highlight the whole audio file, because if you don't highlight it and you only have that small snippet highlighted, you're only moving over that small snippet, and then you're just gonna ruin yourself. And thankfully you can go back and it's not like destructive or anything when you move it over, but safe than sorry. And that way you're also keeping more open space on your computer, because if not, the more you drag over, you're creating a new sound every time you take this, drag and copy, and add it into here. Okay, look, you'll even see the numbers changed just a little bit. If you were to just push this button, which sends it directly to the playlist, it'll send it to a random spot, versus putting it back into the spot that you already have. Okay, so now the clip sounds a little bit differently. All right,
I got it, you rockin', you lit, got it poppin', so worry about others, you don't think about stopping.
All right, volume is normalized, everything is, you know, matched up. You saw how a lot of it is more like consistent.
I got it, you rockin', you lit, got it poppin', so
versus when I initially moved it, which I'm gonna bring this in. All right, so when I initially had it in here, it was like this.
I got it, you rockin', you lit, got it poppin', so worry about others, you don't think about stopping.
All right, you heard now. I don't know if you can hear it clearly enough. You might have to turn the volume up. There's this like little ringing in the background.
I got
it. Right, that's the microphone picking up the air and all that. We clean that out, because now listen to it. Dead space, right?
I got it, you rockin', you lit, got it poppin', so worry about.
So now, here's my next thing. Okay, what I'll do next, I basically put it into a track. Okay, in this case, I'm gonna put it into a random track, and I'm going to, for the sake of this, move this far away, even though I'm not saving anything on this track, because I've already finished it and moved it out, you know. But I have a preset, a channel preset saved already. All right, so this is my channel preset. It's called Male Voice. All right, and what my male voice comes with, we're gonna make this max. All right, I got a parametric EQ2, I got a fruity limiter, another parametric EQ, another fruity limiter, and then a de-esser. All right, this one is Era 4's de-esser. I got it off of Plugin Boutique on sale, thankfully, because if not, the actual plugin by itself I think costs like $40-50. I got it for $5 or $4, something like that. This is my favorite de-esser at the moment. I use stock plugins. I'm more comfortable with them. I don't have to worry about all the extraness. I've been using it so long, since like FL Studio 6, and they do the job for me. Okay, you know, you use whatever EQ you're comfortable with. If you can't afford to keep getting plugins, look, I'm doing it at the best. The only thing that I don't have, that I don't recommend you using, the stock plugin for is doing a de-esser. You can do it through Maximus. There is a way to do it. There's a way to do it through the parametric EQ, but it's just a lot of work. This is a lot easier for me. Okay. But yeah, so we'll start with the parametric EQ. All right. This is my template for everybody. I cut off the low end and bring it in, you know, to like 100 hertz or something like that. It's sharp cut. I have my you know, the next set, I kind of move this up and down, and over here, you know, just kind of like cutting out certain frequencies. All right, my voice, I originally made this with somebody else's voice. My voice, I usually cut around the high, low, mid point. I say high, low, mid because it's the higher point of the low mid. All right, you want an actual like hertz around 448 to like 400 to 498. All right, or 500. Low, you know, and so I tend to cut around there. Let's see. Let me make sure that I only play my voice and not the rest of the song. All right.
I got it, you rockin', you lit, got it poppin', so worry about others, you don't think about stop.
So you can already hear the difference between
I got it, you rockin', you lit, got it poppin'.
All right, now I know it sounds like a lot of
I got it, you rockin', you lit, got
is out, you know, but this is already all the way done. So I'm gonna just cut out, and it's only gonna be the one.
I got it, you rockin', you lit, got it poppin', so worry about others, you don't think about.
All right, so what I'll do, I'll widen out the bottom a little bit, bring this down so it's not too strong.
I got it, you rockin', you lit, got it poppin', so worry.
I don't mess with my the higher hertz. Actually, matter of fact, around the 3000 hertz, I have it just boosted a little bit. Most of it is a little bit of sibilance, which is basically my enunciation and all that kind of mess. I have to my voice because I have a chipped tooth. I'm just gonna put myself out there. I have a chipped tooth. You know, so I do use the de-esser heavily, because if not, I whistle on certain noises, which you might actually capture in this video. But anyways, so that's the first layer. All right, I kind of just, because
I got it, you rockin', you lit, got it poppin', so worry about others, you don't think about stopping.
All right, so that's this first one. All right, then I lay a fruity limiter. All right, now what I do with the fruity limiter is I use it for compression's sake. All right, now I like the fruity limiter just because it's very visual. You can see it. Like, I'm gonna play a little bit.
I got it, you rockin', you lit, got it poppin', so worry about others, you.
All right, so as you can see what's going on right here. All right, now I have this set at, I only want to mess with the threshold. Okay, the threshold is actually, you know, whatever. All of this is to take the dynamic away from the volume, not from your voice, but from the volume of it, so that it's as even as possible and it's not this like big up and down dip. All right, I bring this down. I normally bring it to where I have the breath volume, and here's the reason why. Okay, like I said, I'm evening out as much as I can, so that way there's not so much distinction in the volume.
I got it, you rockin', you lit, got it poppin', so worry about others, you don't think about stopping.
All right, bring that up.
I got it, you rockin', you lit, got it poppin', so worry about others.
Now I know to you or to most people it's a little subtle. To me, I hear the dynamic of it, especially when you listen to headphones, especially when you listen to the vocals afterwards. But a lot of this, because of what I did with normalizing and all of that, you know, a lot of it is already balanced, so it's not that big of a tell. But if you can't get everything, this helps to bring, like you see these spots right here that are a lot lower, it helps to bring everything a little bit closer to the difference of the sound. All right. Now also, it helps to have a better recording. The best recording that you do, the better it'll be. I'll actually think I might make another video about that at a later time. I'll show you what I do. I have no acoustic padding in my house, no acoustic padding in my room, or in my basement. I have bare walls. I have a small like shield on my microphone stand, but it's about my placement in the room. But I'll do that in another video. So next, I have a second layer of EQ. All right, this one I do to kind of tighten up the vocals a little bit, take out some of the low ring and all that kind of stuff. All right,
I got it, you rockin', you lit, got it poppin', so worry about others, you don't think about stopping. I got it, you rockin', you lit, got it poppin', so worry about others, you don't think about stopping. I got it, you rockin', you lit, got it poppin', so worry about others, you don't think about stopping.
Now, I know you hear a ringing in the back. That was a bad recording. I just chose a random one at the moment. But what I'll do is
I got it, you rockin', you lit, got it poppin', so worry about others, you don't think about stopping.
All right, and then I bring down again, like I said, that boost that I ever had.
I got it, you rockin', you lit, got it poppin', so worry about others, you don't think about stopping.
All right, now normally this recording I would have thrown it away because I can't stand that ringing. This probably wasn't even a one that I used. But anyway, so I do a little bit of extra tweak to what I do, cut off a little bit more of the low end if I need to, or add it in, or just minor tweaks. You don't want to do too much. The only thing that I really do mess with is probably right here, just because I want to clean up that lower end a little bit, if just to, because it may sound a little muddy. All right, and then we come back. Oh, sorry. So now here's something that I forgot. I do have my gain from my compressor differently on each one. The first one, all right, is at 5, is basically 5 decibels up. I boost 5 decibels because you lose a lot when you're compressing and all that kind of stuff, and so you want to get back some volume from it, right? So the first one is at 5, and then my second one is only half a decibel underneath. This one is at 4.5. You can see in that top corner. Okay. But it's at 4.5. So the second one is just a little bit lower because it's, even though it's
I got it, you rockin', you lit, got it poppin', so worry about others, you don't think about stopping.
Now, here's what I do for the second one. I like to tighten it up just a little bit more. So I'll bring it a smidge underneath, or like a good percentage underneath where that breath was, the initial breath. All right,
I got it, you rockin', you lit, got it poppin', so worry about others, you don't think about stopping.
I want to tighten up. I do this because I want to tighten up the dynamic of the vocals just a tad bit more, so that it keeps a little bit more consistent, and then I can control the main volume of it in the mix later. Okay, so I have those, those 4 main components. All right. And then I add my de-esser. My de-esser, I have it at 58 to 60 processing. I use normal mode. If I do too narrow, because of my S, it starts messing with it. I don't mess with the output or any of the gain. This is kind of default setting. I keep it at 0 just because I don't want to boost more than I already have with the compressor. And then I have either the intenseness of the de-esser running on, just because, like I said, I have a harsh S to the words that I say and to how I do things. So I'd rather just basically throw the baby out with the bathwater, because I know what I sound like without it. Okay, so at this point, all right, we're gonna at this point, I can just mess with the volume. All right, I'm gonna go back to the actual song so you can see this. I'm gonna delete you guys. So now I'm gonna show you what it sounds like, what I would end up having to do. All right, and take out the beat. So at this point for this, I've done it with all of the song, all of the vocals to the song. And I'll start mixing. I don't mix without the music there. Okay, I just don't. Let's go back. Starting from here. So now what I'll do, okay, is I have a reverb and a delay send that I keep so that everything within the song is uniform. I used to do it where each individual channel had its own reverb, its own delay, and the only time I really do that now is if my reverb, I wanted to do something special with the vocal that I don't want that attached to what the normal one is. If I'm trying to do like I want the reverb to be like real platey or real harsh, and this exaggerated sound, then I'll do, or I want to do something with the delay of the reverb, and just I want to do something completely different than what the normalcy of what the normal part of the song is doing. That's the only time I now add a single reverb to the song. Okay. In this song, I didn't do anything like that. So all of my channels, if you look, have a send to my reverb and to my delay. I probably should have named these, and I can name them right now. All right. Look, I'm not perfect. This is my first time doing this. Really doing this. All right. But yeah, so I have, it's sent to my reverb delay. The volume stays the same as the signal going in. The only thing that I change is my signal going out. And I'll do whatever settings that I need to do, whatever tweaks that I need to do, and make sure that, but all the vocals will do it at the same time. So that way I'm not worrying about, I got to tweak the setting again and yada, yada, yada. Because every song is different, so I don't ever save any templates for when it comes to reverb and delay, because every song requires a little bit more, a little bit less. It just all depends on what the beat is like, the instrumental, what the music is like. If it has a lot of reverb, you use the reverb to blend in, dry vocals with whatever the mood of the song is. It's the same thing with the delay. You add it to give it to blend in just a little bit more, so that it follows through with the song, either melodically or phonetically, or however you want, whatever the fancy word for it is. But I make all of that uniform for all of, so every single one of these is somehow tied into the reverb. But the delay, honestly, I only do, for reverb wise, I only do the like certain layers of it. I do reverb wise, it's all across the board. There's a bit of reverb goes into all of the tracks, just because I want them all to blend in well enough. The delay is the only one that is only on certain tracks. So a lot of the times what I'll do, I won't have it on the main on like the main part of the vocal, and I'll only do it for like the undertone of it. It just all depends on the song. I try not to do it so much on the hooks per se, depending on what part or how heavy is, or how, let me rephrase this. I tend to keep the delay out of certain parts of the song, depending on how much is going on during that part of the song. Like at the beginning of the song, I didn't have a lot of the delay because it would just been jumbled up, with the emptiness and all that, and I didn't need it. Versus later on in the song, I have it in the hook. I only have it on the lower half, but it's only a little bit. It's only on one layer, and that layer is lowered, and but it blends in nicely with the rest of the track. So that's basically what I've done with this track. Wouldn't Have Me, dropping on January 25th. Be on the lookout. Like I said, but yeah, so this song I have layered twice, then I have a set of ad-libs, falling in between. My verses are only the 2 layers, and then my ad-libs doing different things. My hook, I have the 2 layers plus the punchline plus the ad-lib. It's like me, shouting my little things in half. Another thing that I've started doing, I noticed that some of my timing is off, like when I'm doing the second layer, and a lot of that is I don't re-listen to myself singing. So I cut off different parts and line it up, because it's about the same timing. It's just, certain parts is like just I come in a little too early, I come in a little too late, and then in other words is I chopped it up just a little bit too much, and I need to like fix space on it. I didn't do that necessarily with this song as I'm looking through. But there are parts where I might have come in just a little bit too early, but the timing is the same, and so I just moved it back. Like I said, in this one, what I did for the ad-libs, actually I'll show you. I have my automation going, and you'll hear the voice going left to right. So
dramatic beats on the track.
So then you notice, and then on the next side it's gonna be it's on the other side. All right, so I have it going back and forth just because I want, to give it a little bit of exaggeration, and I didn't want it to be so monotonous. you know, like even right here, I'll play this part for you.
Me said I can have stacks on stacks, racks on racks, but that wouldn't do me no good.
So in this part I varied. One side went left, one side went right, one part within the center, just because it was like, ooh, you know, it's an empty enough space, I don't need it to go anywhere, and it's like, you know, just fill in just a little touch, you know. All right, so after the vocals is done, you know, and I've cleaned it all up and all that mess, next is what I'll blend it in. Okay, so I have my music at a certain volume.
Me said I can have stacks on stacks.
So as you notice, even though these two sound the same, actually, let's make this a little bit wider. All right, so even, oh no, I don't like that. So even though they sound, you know, is blended in and all that mess, I have my main layer of the song a higher, you know, the volume a lot higher, or not a lot higher, but just high enough that it presents itself a little bit more. My second layer, I have it underneath it, you know, enough to fill in the gaps of my voice that you know, make it just sound really, really dry or not strong enough, you know, just to give it a little oomph. And then I have my ad-libs at every single part. And this is why I did the left to right panning, was because I wanted it to be you know, in the back, but you know, enough that you can still hear it. And so I panned it left and right, and then I stereo widened this one, just because as you pan it left and right, it gives it a little bit more, that stereo separation fills in the room a little bit more, so that you feel like it's coming in from even different parts, you know, playing with your ears a little bit more. So I have that throughout the entire song, where my main vocal will be all centered, you know, right smack dab in the center, and then my underlayer will just be widened enough, you know, widened enough that you hear it a little bit more, and then, you know, just all throughout the same thing throughout the rest of the song. So what I end up going through is I'm listening to the song, and like I said, I don't mix without the music in there, because if not, then you're just mixing layers, and you don't know how it sounds with the music. So I play my music and then start working little by little.
Me said I can have stacks on stacks, racks on racks.
So initially, if you started off at the same, so what I'll do, for instance, we'll do it with this one. Actually, let me fix that so that way I can just go to it. So let's say, for instance, they're all at the same volume, all right? So you can hear it. So that you can hear it.
Me said I can have stacks on stacks, racks on.
You hear that they sound, you know, this is the volume that they're at. All right, so I need to bring it down just because my mix is a little bit lower on the music, and I want to have enough headspace that I can mix within the song if I need to make any alterations or anything like that. And that way, you know, it's like you're not overbeating it, especially when you have to masterize. Because if you're mastering and your song is hitting 0 dB, you know, 0 decibels the entire time, it's gonna sound like trash. Okay, because you're gonna over compress everything, overdo the saturation and all that kind of mess, and it's just gonna mess it up. Right, so I bring the volume, you know, I'm gonna mute this one just for the sake of it, but I'll play the song.
Me said I can have stacks on stacks,
and I put it in a place where it can still be heard.
No good.
All right,
my kids will have.
Now you can still hear my voice underneath, you know, it's like you can still hear my voice with the beat, but it sounds a little empty, and you know, and it's just like, okay, I can barely hear you, sound like you're whispering. So I bring in my second layer. All right, now I could bring it back to the same space.
I can have stacks on stacks, racks on rack.
But if I have them at the same length, they start competing with each other. If I have them at the same volume, and then it just feels a little bit too jumbled, especially because you have certain, you never do the same take the same, you know, you never do the same take twice. All right, so I have the second one underneath it just enough that when you play
Me said I can have stacks on stacks,
that it feels, like I said earlier, it fills in that like gap, and my voice sounds fuller, and it doesn't sound like I'm just this dry, you know, person speaking on top of the track. It makes my voice sound a little bit fuller, you know, and just a lot, you know, makes the whole song fill out a little bit more, makes it a little bit more interesting. All right, so I do that for every song. I'm not gonna go through, but I mean, as you can see, each one kind of just goes up and down, up and down. The ones that are higher are my main vocal. for the part. Ones that are lower are the one that are just filling in the background. Now the reason why you'll see like this one is when I was doing the take, I liked this take more than I liked the other one, so this became my main vocal for the hook. And so it's not always, it's usually 1 2 1 2 1 2 1 2, but sometimes you just never know. The way that you sound may sound better. For one, I'm not gonna lie, I probably recorded this song like 12 times before I even got to a point where I liked a single take. Record as much as you can do. It takes time. It's never an overnight thing. I don't care what anybody says. You get in front of the mic, you get nervous. But yeah, so I have that going. And then I finish off. I use Ozone to master. Okay. I master the track. Now there are people who tell you export the track then master it. I'm not gonna tell you that. You choose your own. I like to master with it because while it's in the same track, just because I think it just sounds better and you get everything flush. What I'll do is I do the master assistant. I'm not gonna go through it, but I'll do the master assistant, CD, high, hit next at the highest point of your track. You hit it where the beat is the strongest, the vocals are the strongest, but I mix to where the top of my music hits, which actually I'll show you in this. I do it so that the max, the highest peak of my volume hits around -6 decibels. Sometimes if I'm really feeling like, okay, this is gonna hit really, really hard, I'll try to do around -12. Reason being is when you start doing your mastering, you're boosting up certain things, small tweaks here and there. But when you're maximizing your threshold, you're trying to get to that point where, to give it that extra punch, to give, it's like this thing will boost out and do the gain so much. So after I do the master assist, I come to the maximizer. I hit true peak. If it isn't hit, I bring it down to where I want the limiter to basically go. So no part of the song will ever hit above -1 dB. That is my ceiling. And so then I mess with the threshold to where I don't do it too low so it doesn't compress so much, but just enough to where, like, for me, my focus is the kick of the song. So I'll bring it at a point within the kick that's a sweet spot to where the kick, when that kick hits, it'll boost it. It'll boost the rest of the song, but it'll give it, that like, especially when you hit that, listen to in your car and all that mess, it really bangs. That's just me though. You find what you want, but I'm giving you what I do. I go to the imager and I turn on the imager. The imager doesn't always turn on for me, but I turn it on and I widen it just a little bit more. Makes the song a little bit fuller, makes it sound, just a little bit more, like not so empty, not so dead, especially in this case. I didn't pan a lot left and right because I didn't mess with the song, and it helps to widen the beat out just enough. And then I go to the EQ and I check what they did. Sometimes I don't like what they do, sometimes I do. In this case, I tweaked the bass just a little bit, because the bass I think was lowered and I needed it, and it underemphasized what I was trying to do. Obviously this is a trap beat or a trap like song, so I boosted the bass just a little bit, brought down the high end a little bit because there was too much, it was too harsh for my ears, and that's basically it. And then you listen to the song and you
Me
do this.
said I can have stacks on stacks, racks on racks, but that wouldn't do me no good. My kids would have money, but they wouldn't have me. Said I can have stacks on stacks, racks on racks, but that wouldn't do me no good.
But yeah, so that's what I did with this song. I hope I did something good for you. Keep in mind, like I said, the song comes out January 25th. Wouldn't have me. Y'all stay blessed.
That would be absurd. I can have stacks on stacks, racks on racks, but that wouldn't do me no good. My kids would have money, but they wouldn't have me. Said I can have stacks on stacks, racks on racks, but that wouldn't do me no good. I would live but have no soul.